My name is Alvin. For 15 years, I went to physical therapy's chiropractor session doing core and glute training for 7 hours a week, and I still wake up every single day with my back pain. Now, that's pretty devastating, but imagine just doing half the work, still getting double, triple, quadruple the result, and now you can swing a golf club like this. Not only that, in the past 6 years, I found over more than 400 plus clients with this one particular problem, help them move without the back pains, so they can get back to gym, sport they used to play, and most importantly, just leave like a normal human being while training right around 20 to 30 minutes per day. Now, in today's video, I'll take you through my client success journey, the step-by-step progression we use to help hundreds of our clients transform from not being able to bend forward and wake up with back pain every single day to golfing, training, lifting, moving completely pain-free again. When you first join the program, we're going to tackle the two foundations first, which will be your biomechanical and your neurological foundation, your foot and your nervous system. Now, if you haven't watched my previous video, make sure you do so before this video, otherwise this won't even make sense to you. Now, Phase 0 is all about building your body awareness, building the two unmissable bio and neurological foundations, your feet and your nervous system. Now, if you miss those two foundations, even if we're doing all the right exercise, train your body asymmetrically from side to side, you're never going to get any long-term relief whatsoever because simply your body can't adapt it to you long-term. But imagine just doing half the work and progress 2 times, 3 times faster than anybody else. All you need to do first is to dial in those two foundations. Again, like I said before, your feet are packed with 7,000 nerve endings. They're designed to sense the ground, adapt to the surface, and send constant feedback to your brain, your nervous system about balance and about your movement. They're also the only thing that touch the ground when you move. Now, when your feet can't move or sense the ground properly, like you have a collapsed arch right here, where you reach your toe, where you live in a pronation, every step you took, every move you make, your body will compensate throughout the kinetic chain. That means your knee, your hip, your upper shoulder rotations, and your lower back specifically going to take on unnecessary stress. And imagine do that every single day for 2 years straight. Now, this is not rocket science here. So we're going to make sure we fix your foot first, and then the rest of your body, like your hip flexor, your hamstring, can follow the lead by doing the right exercise. So on Phase 0, we have those go. I want to make sure that you can sense the 3-point contact when standing and walking, can find your sit bone, can learn how to stack properly. Now, what I mean by stack is I want you to maintain these positions. So instead of flare up your rib cage, I want you to learn how to stack. And then finally, I want you to learn how to breathe properly as well. So 5 seconds in, 2 seconds pause, and then 8 seconds out. The last one is about reset your nervous system. Again, I can't stress this is enough. If you don't have a regulated nervous system, nothing will ever work for you. Even if you're training your body asymmetrically, even if you're focused on your movement instead of pain, even if you train your foot, even if you go through surgeries, nothing will ever work if your nervous system is stuck in this flight or fly stage and your body can't seem to learn how to just let go. Now, I think you probably experienced that on your own. If you're still too confused, here's the logic right here. Now, your brain will send a signal to your spinal cord, and then it will contract the muscle. Now, your brain and your nervous system control how your body moves. The best way to train your nervous system is through breathing exercise. And if you're like someone, you're like, hey, Alvin, I don't really like breathing exercise. I don't think breathing exercise can help. I don't like to do breathing exercise. Those won't work on me. Well, good luck to you, but you will never get out of your pain, period. Sometimes we just have to learn the hard way. Now that we have a solid foundation to begin with, we can train your upper body rotation and your lower body rotation to restore the neutrality of your pelvis. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see whether you're in anterior pelvic tilt or posterior pelvic tilt. In other words, sweep back posture. And then we're going to train you accordingly. Now, if you have a anterior pelvic tilt, we want to make sure your shoulder internal rotation is about 50 degrees on both sides. Your straight leg raise is about 50 degrees on both sides. Hip internal rotation, obviously 30 degrees on both sides. And then we're going to consider your shoulder abduction about 25 degrees on both sides as well. For your CO2 intolerance, at this point, we want to get you at least to about 25 seconds. Now, your CO2 level is a great indicator for your nervous system regulation. If you have less than 15 seconds of CO2 intolerance, you have a dysregulated nervous system, which means you can't sleep properly and you will wake up, feel a lot more pain, and your body will adapt slower compared to people who have a regulated nervous system. Now, on the other hand, if you have a more like sweep back posture, we want to make sure your shoulder internal rotation is about 50 degrees on both sides, straight like this, obviously 50 degrees on both sides, and your CO2 intolerance is about 25 seconds as well. Now, I know some people may ask, Alvin, why do we need to target your upper body measurement? why we're going to train your shoulder internal rotation and your shoulder abduction. Now, like I said before, our human body is a kinetic chain. Now, I want to stay focused on this picture right here. Our human body is a kinetic chain. If you don't fix everything all together, you're fixing nothing, essentially. Now, that includes your upper body rotation as well. Think about this. If you walk like a refrigerator, you don't really move your upper body. Do you think your lower back going to feel good or feel bad, right? So we need to work on your whole body all together so you can not only get, but also you can maintain the long-term result. Now, after we achieve all those benchmarks that I talk about right here, and then we're going to do a walking test. Essentially, what this does right now is you have a more range of motion compared to when we first started, but we want to see how your body adapt to those new range of motions through walking, because you got to move, right? I don't want you to just train you and hopefully your body going to feel better. I want you to maintain those adaptations, those improvements when you move in your daily life too. So just walk about 20 to 50 yards, and then we're going to retest your range of motion right away. If your assessment stay mostly the same to 80-90% of range, yes, we're going to progress you to the next phase. And if your assessment got worse, we're going to stay in the current phase and we're going to keep working your foot intervention so you have a solid foundation before we progress. Now, the last thing I want to do is progress you too fast, too soon, and then we have to dial back down. Now, once you can pass the walking test, this is where the real fun begins. Now, this is where we're going to be training your body more asymmetrically from side to side. We're going to start with your non-lateralized side, in other words, the weaker side. So I'll use this as an example. Now, if you shift your body weight more so towards the right side, okay, so your right side is by a more internal rotation, the left side is by more external rotations. Now, your left side will be your weaker side. And obviously, this one will be different for everybody. Now, in terms of assessment, what we're looking for will be globally throughout your body, hip internal rotation 25 to 30 degrees, shoulder abduction about 45 degrees, your pelvic rotation about 70 degrees. And if you have a partner, we're going to encourage you to do the Ober's test as well. That test is going to test you how neutral your pelvis is. And by the way, the picture and the assessment we're using right now, they're all done by Connor Harris. It's a great mentor, taught me a lot about human asymmetry and how human body works. Make sure to check him out as well. Now, once you're out of a phase 2, most of my clients report their pain level is already dropped by 70 to 80% already. But obviously, it's a case-by-case situation. And depending on how your nervous system really adapts. I'm not offering any guarantee here. But usually at this stage is where I ask my client, how's your hip flexor? How's your hip issues? How's your hamstring? How's your psoas? Oh, shoot, I haven't felt them for a while now. Now, those reactions on their face just never get solved. Now, once you're done with phase 2, meaning your pelvis is more neutral now, your upper body now have adequate rotation, but not perfect yet, but good enough to progress. And most importantly, the weaker side now learn how to load more body weight. After this, we're going to transition you to more advanced tests like your abduction test. Again, same question. Did you maintain the same measurement or improve bilaterally? If yes, we're going to progress. If no, we're going to stay here, meaning you still have some work to do on the weaker side. Now, on phase 3, we're going to train more with your lateralized side, in other words, the stronger side. So if we use the same example, now if your pelvis shift to the right side, obviously your left side will be your weaker side, the right side will be the stronger side. So the left side needs to learn how to load your body weight. The right side needs to learn the exact opposite, which means how to push out of this side. Obviously in real life, your pelvis is not going to move like this. So I'm just doing this for illustrative purpose. Now the goal we're looking for here will be your hip internal rotation 40 to 50 degrees, shoulder abduction above 60 degrees, and your hip abduction above 45 degrees. And also this is where we're going to be adding more strength training into your program. Now, I want to point out this first. We don't add any training at first because we want to make sure that your body is moving right. And then we're going to be adding more strength training to reinforce the right pattern. Now, if you're doing all the strength training right off the bat, like what you're doing maybe with your physical therapy, chiropractor, to make your glute core stronger, when your body is not moving correctly, you're just reinforcing a body that is already kind of jacked up or messed up. And let me be super clear about this as well. This doesn't mean that you have to stop the gym workout once we start working together. This means our training will transition into more gym focus at this phase instead of just a reset exercise, which you can typically do at home. And lastly will be the performance training. So most of my clients stop after phase 3 because they're all moving pain-free now. They've already learned how to do their reset. They can live their own life. But if you're a good client and I love to work with you and you also have some performance goal, we can keep working together. Now, this is a completely separate program, but once people are out of pain, most people just get back to do the same training and start training again like they used to. which is the part of the reason they have this pain in the first place. And if you're smart enough, just do the reset I teach you after your gym session so you can maintain a long-term relief. But some people, they want more. Some people, they want to do more than just a reset, or they don't want to do the reset anymore. They want to train smarter, how to get more by training less, so their body don't even got tight, stiff pain after the gym. Now, obviously, your longevity tracking system, your sleep, recovery, posture, and low metric, etc. Now, this is not for everyone, though. Now, I want to bring this up real quick. So, in any given point of your program, if your result isn't sticking, here is the troubleshooting process. But let me be clear. What I mean by result is not your pain level, but your assessment measurement. Now, once your assessment are better, meaning your body is moving better, and once your body is moving better consistently, your body going to feel better along the way. But let's say your assessment isn't staking in, let's say most likely going to be in phase 1 or phase 2. And you get up, you feel like, I feel tied up again. Now, first thing first, we're going to check all your exercise execution. By far, this is the biggest mistake. Just get into the exercise position is not good enough. You need to make sure that you can follow every single instructions. Now, it can be really hard to master all those exercises at first. That's why I only give you 3 to 4 exercises each week. Sometimes I will even just give you 1 new exercise. It's better to master 1 exercise than pushing through 5 different exercises and not get any meaningful changes. And if you're 100% sure the execution is correct, then you should see some decent improvement right after the exercise. Now, it may not hold on long-term just yet, but if you execute the exercise 100% correctly, you are going to see the improvement on your assessment right away. Now, the second thing we're going to check will be your frequency. So do this 1 to 2 sets in the morning before you start your day, and 1 to 2 sets at night before you go to bed as well. But at least, at a bare minimum, do all those exercises 5 to 6 times a week. If not, the frequency is just too low to make any meaningful changes. Now, most of the time, this will work just fine. But let's say if your assessment is still not staking, but let's say if your assessment is still stuck, we're going to check with your lifestyle. Super, super important as well. Are you excessively stressed? Are you sleep with your mouth open, or do you snore? Are you wake up feeling worse? Are you getting at least 5K stepping every single day, or you just sit around your desk every single day and you don't even get up for maybe 5 hours, right? Now, we have solution for this. Meditations, mouth tape, and also there's another thing. If you have trouble breathing through night, use those magnetic nose strap. Those are amazing. Now, I can link them down below as well. Also, increase your step count. Now, I let my client to walk at least 5K step every single day. Doesn't really matter your pain level is 10 or your pain level is 2, all right? And then lastly, I will basically let them do a short seated breathing exercise or 90-90 hip lift exercise every 2 hours of sitting. Now, most likely 95% of case will be solved by everything I just mentioned right here. And also, there's a lot of good tips in my FAQ sheet right here. Now, definitely check them out. Those are for internal clients only. Now, that still doesn't work. Let's say your assessment is still stuck here. We're going to check with your cranial or your cervical influence. Now, see if you have some balance problem. And then at the very last options, right here, I would say maybe less than 1% of chance that you're going to be referred out. Now, for the past 6 years, over more than 400 plus clients, I only refer out 1 client. So you got an idea here. All right. Now, lastly, I know for some of you, you guys want to know how fast I can get out of it, right? Now, I can't tell you this because now I don't want to give you the false perception that this is going to be easy. This is going to take at least 20 minutes per day and full commitment. I don't want to hurt your result because if we're going to work together, you only try this for a couple of weeks and you feel great and then you quit and then you come back. Well, first of all, that's not great. Not only for my reputation, which is something I took serious about, but also it will hurt your result at the end of the day. And that's the last thing I want to see. And frankly, I don't really work with half-committed clients anyway, because those are people who just often quit when they are start to feel better. But those are the times we really need to double down on what's working and keep you from regressing. So if you want to try and then quit once you're feeling better, this is not for you. But if you're serious and stay committed to the process, when you are feeling great, typically most of my one-on-one client, ideally speaking, can feel 30 to 50% drop in pain level within the first 4 weeks after they pass phase 1. They can feel about 70% drop right here around phase 1 to phase 2. But obviously that's a case-by-case situation. I'm not offering any guarantee to you because it's not compliant with the law. Absolutely best case, my best client got pain-free within the first 7 days of working with me one-on-one, but obviously this is not typical. So don't expect you to get out of it within the first 7 days too. Absolutely worst case scenario, you can still move, you can still walk, you can still train without any movement limitations, but it just took you a little bit longer to get there. So at the end of 4 months, you might still have maybe 1 or 2 out of 10 pain, stiffness, tightness here and there around your back. But after doing this for additional 4 more months, you are all good. And this is absolutely the worst case scenario. He's a great client, but his problem is just a little bit more complex. And just to give you some context, this is a guy who had this for 25 years, 2 lower back surgery, 1 neck surgery, and 2 hip surgery as well. So you got an idea here. Now that you know my progression model, I'm super excited to get you started. So guys, if you make this far, I appreciate you. This is my breakdown of my entire program and my whole process. So yeah, basically you got 3 routes here. Now, pass 1, you can keep trying yourself, keep doing the same exercise like what I did before, but for almost 15 years, I wake up every single day feeling like I was 60 years old, and all I can think of was my back hurt, just demoralizing to open up my day like this. Or you can try the pass B. You can try all those exercise assessment in the no back pain protocol. Now you can find them link in my bio on my Instagram. Now those are great exercise, but I can't guarantee the timeline because everybody is different and it's a case by case situation. As I showed you throughout the training, I can give you all the assessment, all the exercise in a row, but those are only the tip of the iceberg. Now those exercises will work, but I just don't know how your body responds to those exercises. And also if you don't have every part of the process completely dialed in, and then you're probably just going to try something here and there, and then you're going to waste a lot of money and a lot of your time, which I don't want that to happen to you because it happened to me. Now that leads me to pass C. If you want to shortcut the process, get you out of this as soon as possible, book a call, link down below. Be ready to take your action, bring your credit card. I don't like to waste time. You don't either. We're going to get you on board if we think you're absolutely great fit, and we'll 100% turn you down if we think we can't really help you. That's a breakdown of my whole program and the process. But like I said before, you will be a case-by-case situation when we work together as well. And if you're serious, this is what it takes. This way, you don't have to live like a 60 years old anymore. And we're going to make sure you get out of it once and for all for the rest of your life. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Now comment down below if you like this type of content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.